CBS News political correspondent Ed O'Keefe is here. Ed, good morning.
Good to see you guys again.
So do Biden's advisors, I know you've been talking to them, with this video, do they feel like they're close to being able to move on from this issue?
Well, I think earlier this week there was a thought that if there was nothing more serious alleged by anyone, then they would be all right. And so now they've released this video. We notice he acknowledges it. He says he's going to do better. He doesn't explicitly apologize to these women. That was part of the debate. Is there really anything to apologize for?
Not when
or you're just going to explain yourself,
wrong.
which is what he did.
And most of the women, it seems, Ed, are saying they would still vote for him. That they don't think it disqualifies him from being a presidential candidate.
Yeah, as one of them said, this doesn't explicitly disqualify him, but we should have a robust debate about his 40 years of public service and some of the things that he did in the past as a senator.
Let's talk about the larger 2020 race. I understand the dozen of the Democrats that are running for president are all going to be speaking at an event?
Well, they're here in New York, yes. The annual Al Sharpton National Action Network Conference, one of the many what we like to call cattle calls that will be held across the country this year and next year. They're traveling in packs. This week it's Midtown Manhattan because they hope that if they can make it here, they can make it anywhere.
What are you looking for in the speeches?
Well, one of the things that this group, the National Action Network, has told them they want to hear about is support for potential reparations for slavery. As one of the leaders told us yesterday at the event, we want to know that these Democratic candidates are at least open to the idea of possible reparations being paid. This is an issue that has been talked about by a lot of these candidates, hasn't been talked about broadly, but there are different groups and people trying to push it into the conversation.
And it'll be interesting is, what is the threshold? Do they all just have to say, yes, it'd be interesting to have a committee to study it, or do they have to be specific about what reparations
And they want to see at least people say, I'm okay with the idea, let's talk about it more.
Let me ask you this. Are we in the stage, Ed, with these cattle calls, so many of them, are candidates in the stage of, hi, nice to meet you, here's who I am? Or are they in the stage of, here's how I'm different than this person or that person?
It's more still introducing yourself to these audiences, trying to explain your background, and in some cases putting out some pretty meaty proposals on things that they would do, whether it's immigration, whether it's reforming the tax structure or revamping health care in the country. But you know, you ask most Americans to name more than 3 presidential candidates right now, and they can't do it, and they shouldn't have to.
Right.
Because this is still, much more than a year away.
Let's talk about fundraising numbers. John, were you going to say something more to this? Let's talk about the fundraising numbers. You know, Bernie said the other day 18 million. Kamala said 12 million. Beto O'Rourke is now up to 9, and he's touting that these are more individual donations, smaller donations. Right. I think Mayor Pete Buttigieg is 6.9. What? Oh, there it is.
7 million plus now. Yeah.
7 million plus. Okay, the other day was 6.9.
So these are the only 4. Yeah, these are the only 4 of the candidates to self-announce what they've raised so far.
So what does this tell you? What does this mean?
Well, you know, it's no surprise that Bernie Sanders would have as much as he does. He's probably the biggest name in the race and had several $1 million left over from his last campaign. This is one of the only data points we have at this point, one of the only pieces of evidence of potential support. And so they're going to sort of be touting the fact that, you know, our largest contribution was only $40, and we got it from 900,000, or there were 900,000 different contributions.
Why does that matter?
It matters because it demonstrates that they have support across the country, the kind of grassroots support that will sustain them both financially and on the ground in these early primary states.
I read one donor to Pete Buttigieg say, I've given him $10, and then every week I just give another $10.
Actually, I think it was every day.
Yeah, every day. And
that's exactly what they're looking for.
You know, and that's the kind of enthusiasm, right, you want to build when someone keeps watching the channels and says, I'm sending another check.
Yeah. I know we got to go, but that's really into those top 4. A lot of diversity in those top 4 fundraising candidates, which just reminds you how diverse the field is.
Absolutely.
All right, Ed O'Keefe, you coming back later, or is this it for today?
I think this is it for today.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a double.
Be here whenever.
Always good to have you.
A double matinee.
Always good. I like a matinee.